For the last 3 years, a new entry in the VHS series has dropped on Shudder to the delight of franchise fans. All 3 movies from this brand new run of the franchise have broken Shudder's streaming records and have proven that this found footage punk rock anthology series still has a lot of life left in it. With the 7th entry arriving this October, subtitled Beyond, there's so much to discuss between the new directors, some experimental segments, and a big reason why this franchise can truly go on forever. Now let's dive into everything we know about VHS Beyond. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. I look forward to October every year, not just because of spooky season and the temporary worldwide acceptance of horror films, but also for the latest installment in my favorite found footage series ever, VHS. It's a franchise that's laced with little cryptic stories made by some of the biggest faces in horror, all in one movie. The series began all the way back in 2012, with the first entry featuring directors Adam Wingard, Ty West, Radio Silence, and many more. The anthology concept is credited to producer Brad Miska on each of these movies, the co-founder of Bloody Disgusting. Discussing the film's loose narrative and choice of directors, Miska said, "For VHS, we went to people that I have a relationship with, via Bloody Disgusting, a group of trusted filmmakers who we thought would want to take part in this. They pitched us their ideas, then came to us with treatments and scripts. It was like, if you like this, go do your thing." In terms of the movie itself getting greenlit, the storyline that runs through the whole movie was something that we had originally discussed. So we just went with the decided upon streamlined story and just let the filmmakers go do their thing. Which is kind of a reverse of how you're supposed to do a movie like this. You're supposed to do that last. It became a fill-in-the-hole type project. What can we put here? What can we put there? You know, what would amp it up here? So it was a living project, a living film, if you will. Although the VHS franchise was a big hit when it first came out, it was a bit short-lived, after hitting 3 movies in just a few years. The third film of the original run, VHS Viral, was a miss with fans and is often cited as the worst entry. The franchise would go dormant for a few years unless you count the spin-off film, Siren, based on David Bruckner's short from the original film. I still have to see that one, and Kids vs. Aliens. The franchise would make a streaming return, however, with VHS 94 in 2021. The 4th entry was a major hit, making it the most watched movie premiere on Shudder upon its release. It is also my favorite film in this entire franchise, potentially a hot take.
Hail, Radma.
Personally, I absolutely love all 3 of those new flicks. Although 99 and 85 do have some weaker shorts, they all have at least 2 jaw-dropping segments that make them better than whatever happened with Viral. With this franchise having ever-increasing success, why not make another? When VHS Beyond was first announced last year at New York Comic Con, it was teased that Beyond would take the franchise to space. Like all long-standing horror franchises, eventually you have to jump the shark. It was compared to Jason X and Leprechaun 4 in space, both bangers, and I won't hear otherwise. Just this past July, the directors were announced as well, which I'm going to probably spend a big portion of this video on. Let's get right into it. VHS Beyond will include 6 segments, but one of them is said to be a special presentation from Jay Cheel of Cursed Films. Jay is a documentary filmmaker, making me think that this presentation will be some sort of retrospective on the franchise, or maybe even found footage films in general. I'm excited to see what this ends up being. The first narrative segment is directed by Jordan Downey. He's best known for his low-budget spoof slasher Thanksgiving, a movie about an anthropomorphic turkey slaughtering college students on Thanksgiving. If you haven't seen this film, or James from Dead Meat Tear It to Shreds, you're missing out. It's one of my favorite so bad it's good movies of all time. He's also made some more sophisticated films like The Headhunter in 2018 that follows a medieval warrior seeking revenge on a monster that took his daughter's life. It has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's on Shudder, it's awesome. Downey's segment is titled Stork, making me think this will be about some sort of evil stork monster that steals babies. That's total speculation, of course, but tell me that wouldn't be cool. Next up is one of the most interesting choices for this next installment, Christian and Justin Long. Justin is a legendary character actor in horror films, known for his roles in Jeepers Creepers, Barbarian, Drag Me to Hell, and It's a Wonderful Knife. He's also been in countless thousands comedy films, a subgenre I have some severe nostalgia for. Him and his brother are directing a segment titled Fur Babies, making me think evil kittens will be the focal point of that short. It kind of reminds me of that one segment from the short-lived Snapchat miniseries based on this franchise that focused on a stray dog taken in by an unsuspecting family. I don't remember much from that series except for that one. It got weird. and I like it weird. I might make a really niche video on that series if y'all are interested. It's kinda like the lost VHS movie in a way. Another short titled Dream Girl comes from up-and-coming filmmaker Virat Pal. Virat Pal? Man, I know I'm butchering that name. His repertoire includes some experimental short films that make him perfect for this series, especially this entry. The guy loves sci-fi, so I imagine this segment will dabble in that realm, possibly leaning into the horrors of AI. Sci-fi horror is the best. Pal seems like a really cool dude based on his website, where he showcases some of those aforementioned shorts and his passion for filmmaking. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table here, because he says it's the craziest thing he's ever put to film. This next short is the one we surprisingly know the most about, and will likely be the segment that again finally takes VHS to space. Directed by former Radio Silence member Justin Martinez, the segment is titled Live and Let Dive. Perry Nemiroff from Collider ran an exclusive article on the segment where she detailed a few plot elements and behind-the-scenes stories. Director Justin Martinez talks about how badly he wanted to get back in the director's chair since co-directing a segment in the first film, the Halloween short from Radio Silence. He had done VFX work on a few of the latest segments, but was itching to direct one again. This segment will utilize both of his talents here, as it's one of the most effects-heavy vignettes in franchise history. Live and Let Dive is about a group of friends in Florida who go skydiving only to crash into a UFO. After the survivors touch down in an orange grove, the fight for their lives continues. I have a feeling it won't end quite there. The film was promised to go to space, as you might recall from earlier in this video, and I think this segment is the one to do it. I can already see the shot of a UFO picking up the characters with a tractor beam, the characters unwillingly get sucked up into the vessel alongside fallen oranges. There's room for some really creative shots there that could make this one iconic. They could get taken into space where they might just get probed. That's true horror right there. Producer Josh Goldblum apparently had his doubts on if they could film this one with how elaborate the segment became. He does confirm, however, that he and Martinez were able to figure this one out, although it was tricky. It sounds intense and might be the segment I'm the most hyped for. I love how ambitious this specific entry seems to be. The last segment, and certainly not the least, is titled Stowaway, coming from Kate Siegel in her directorial debut. Kate is the star of numerous horror projects such as Hush and The Haunting of Hill House. Her husband and horror maestro Mike Flanagan wrote the segment as well. I think this last one will quickly become VHS royalty, as Flanagan and Siegel both have the Midas touch. Not only are they husband and wife, but pretty much every project they have worked on together is pure excellence. Anyone who has seen Flanagan's Netflix series would know that, of course. With that cryptic title, I'm not too sure what this one could be about, but it has my full attention. VHS Beyond's theme this time around is said to be sci-fi horror. The previous 3 installments all had themes as well, 94 being super 90s, 99 representing the chaotic Y2K period for humanity, and 85 having an 80s horror feel to it. Now Beyond will take us to the Beyond. I can't wait to see what cosmic horrors await us in this new entry, arriving on Shudder on October 4th of this year. In my not so humble opinion here, I think the VHS franchise can truly go on forever. This is a series that continues to pique my interest and keep me up all night refreshing Shudder just so I can finally watch it. It holds my interest more than any franchise continuation because I never know what to expect. Even with this new movie, we might have an entire plotline for one of the segments out there, but I still feel like I have no idea what's going to happen. It keeps me coming back for more, especially with how awesome the director lineups continue to be with each new entry. If they can keep that up, I say bring on an 8th installment next year. Why stop when you've proven to be consistently fresh with nearly every entry? The majority of horror franchises don't have that luxury. There are still a ton of directors who I would love to see tackle a VHS segment too. Just to name a few off the top of my head, Fede Alvarez, Rose Glass, Lee Cronin, Julia DeCorno, and maybe even Damien Leone. You can't tell me that lineup wouldn't rock. Just like Brad said about the first film, VHS is a living project. Let it live and let dive. Before we wrap up today's video, I'd like to ask you all to please subscribe to my gaming channel, GullGotha. I'm currently playing spooky horror games over there, and it would mean the world to me if you all checked it out. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. I also want to thank my wonderful Killjoy cult members that continue to support this page. I wouldn't be able to continue making these goofy little update videos without you all. Please consider signing up to receive exclusive rewards by clicking on the link in the description of this video or by pressing the join button on my page. Thank you all again for your support. What do you all think about VHS Beyond? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.